What is going on, brothers and sisters? Eric Rosen here, your internal strength coach, here to show you how to overcome your greatest challenges so you can shine your brightest light. I'm coming at you from a balcony within the city of St. Louis today. Wasn't able to make it out by the lake or in any real grassy or lake type area today, but nonetheless wanted to get this message out to you guys. So if you don't already know by now, I offer coaching and personal training. So if you guys are interested in hearing more about that, send me an email, ericrosencoaches@gmail.com. So the topic that I wanted to talk about with you guys today is about observation without judgment. There's tons of judgment, that goes on every day. We judge ourselves, we judge others. We always tend to think that maybe we know what's best for someone else, or maybe we come down hard on ourselves when we make a mistake, or of course when others make mistakes too, or what we perceive as mistakes. And the thing is that it's really easy from an outsider's perspective to notice when someone is fucking up, when someone's fucking up, or you can just like sit back and kind of see that what this person's doing isn't probably for their own good, and it's not maybe even in alignment for who they are. Maybe people just like fighting with others, getting into arguments with other people, maybe over some nonsense, getting sucked into political debates, social issues, getting like really like sucked into those things like deeply emotionally, which can be a problem because you're distracted from what's maybe going on in your own world. Maybe there's stuff in your own world that you should be focusing on your time and efforts on, as opposed to these larger scale issues that I'll talk about my theory on how those actually get solved. But when you see someone doing something, and there's a tendency to not only want to judge them, but even offer unsolicited advice. And the thing is that the only way that person can truly, make a change on what's going on with them, or fix things for themselves, is if they are truly ready to accept advice and guidance from other people, because those changes ultimately have to come from within. You have to be intrinsically motivated. So, how this applies on like a collective level, I mentioned like the social, political issues, stuff going on with, finances. Maybe it's people buying a bunch of shit to like make themselves happy. And I think the only way that those changes really happen is when on an individual level, people, have these epiphanies, these realizations. Maybe it's under the guidance or advice of others, but they have these own realizations for themselves, within themselves. And when it happens enough on an individual level, that's when I think that people can start to reject some things, like reject the nonsense that goes on in politics, the nonsense that goes on trying to divide and separate people on these social agendas. So, I have my belief structure that's based on like my set of experiences, things that have happened to me, and like that's how I formed the belief structures. I've had these experiences that gave rise to what is my truth, and that's how I live my life. And the thing is when you go out and you're judging other people, it can become really difficult, because not everybody's going to have the same experiences as you. How could they? How can everybody have the exact same experiences? Like, they're your own individual experiences. So, if people are approaching things, where they're living their belief structure out of experiences and not like an adopted belief structure, where they just adopted some belief, then really you offering judging, from your place, from your belief structure, it's just going to be, it's not going to come across right, because it's that person's, they see the world differently. They had different experiences, so they have different beliefs. So, when those experiences aren't the same, I mean, how can it possibly be on a level playing field, judging someone else? So my advice is to give people space to grow, give them space to grow, to figure things out for themselves, offer support, let them know that you're there for them. You can offer guidance and advice when it's asked for, and just replace judgment with a place of compassion, a place of understanding. Look at the things that are going on in your own world and see all the challenges and that you have, and realize that everyone else has their own set of challenges and their own experiences that are going on too. So, rather than come from a place of judgment, just realize hey, this person's moving through the same, some hardships of their own. And that can be especially difficult if you're someone who comes down hard on yourself. Maybe you hold yourself to a high standard, you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and therefore you hold yourself to a high standard for others. But I think it's really important to realize that in the grand scheme of things, that everybody is at a different path, that everybody's at a different point in their journey, that there's karmic things to this, that not everybody is going to figure things out at the same pace as you, or figure things out the same, or even in the same lifetime for that matter. This was a big realization for me, realizing that, especially with close ones, family, when I would see people continuing to repeat the same patterns over and over again, but then still saying they want to be happy, but they're not willing to change, their approach. And it's well, if you're not willing to change your approach or think differently or see the world differently, you're going to keep getting the same results. And it was really tough for me. It had, from a feeling perspective, just physically, it would just, my body would just tighten up, and it was damn, just, why can't you see, but the thing is that, offering that space to them, and just that love and compassion, and knowing that they're just in a different place, that's ultimately, I think, the place that we should be at with others. And it's hard. It's, know too that this isn't a perfect thing of one day you just wake up and all of a sudden you never judge again. I don't think it works like that. I believe that, that you will still get upset. I'll still find myself passion judgment on somebody, but what's great about it is I do it, and as more time goes on, and the more that I work on a different world perspective and love and compassion, the more that it doesn't feel right when I judge someone else. It doesn't feel right, and then I'm able to become aware and step back, and instead of continuing to let that affect me or hold that space of judgment, I actually consciously offer that person love and kindness instead, and it feels right. It just feels really good and really right. So that's something that you can do as well. The next time that you get mad or upset with somebody, it's flip it over and be never mind, I'm going to offer this person, some good vibrations. And I think that coincides too with, what I talked about, if you watch the video about staying in the stream, it's how do you can't always, I don't think you can always stay in that place, because you got to come out and you've got to experience the contrast of, there's the passive feel good energy, but then there's also the harder malefic energies with lessons. So you're not always going to be able to stay in this place of perfect alignment, where you're just not judging people. And know too that you've got years and years, speaking from experience, but probably you as well, years and years and years of certain types of programming, where it's just a part of your part of your persona, who you became, with reacting to situations, with getting offended by something that someone does, like getting offended yourself, or that you think their behavior is offensive. So it's not going to be uncommon for you to continue to still have that initial reaction of judgment for a person, because that's what you've been doing. Like for me, for 30 years. I mean, I'm 33 now. I don't know, maybe when I started judging, maybe I was 3, who knows. But, and then in turn, don't pile on top of yourself and judging yourself for judging someone else. Like, oh fuck, I judged them. I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't figured out to be judgment-free and more compassionate. No, you're still being compassionate with yourself by not judging yourself, and then coming back to it and offering that compassion even though your initial reaction was judgment. So, as someone who, is a coach, like it's my job to see like patterns in people, to see a direction that I probably need to lead someone towards, that's beneficial for them. But it's not about directing them or ordering them to a certain place, like coming from a place of like consulting, expertise, or authoritative. Because again, like it needs to come up intrinsically. People need to realize their own truths, because it's actually those realizations that people come to, like that's where, like I talked about before, that's where the transformation happens. And it's these very deeply, I'm talking about experiences to shape belief structures. It's these deep experiences that people have within themselves when they have these realizations that arise from within, and that's how you get there. So as a coach, I can offer to guide people in a certain direction, but it's really about asking them probing questions, really, to kind of get them to answer questions, with their own experiences, their own belief structure, and that's how they're able to like come and like have these realizations for change. So that's what I got for you guys today. It's really just about, like it's you want to be self-aware. The more self-aware you are, the more observation that's taken place, I think the better off you can be in your journey. But learning to detach more and more from judgment is an important piece, I think, to this puzzle that is life. So that's what I got for you guys today. I know I didn't put out a video last night, Friday, which I haven't a couple Fridays in a row. The aspiration is to put out a video every day, but like there's some days where it just doesn't work out. So what I will tell you guys is that way more often than not, there's going to be a video every day. I don't want to overpromise that there's going to be a video every day now, seeing as how my schedule's shaken out, and we'll just see how it goes. Maybe Friday will be the off day or something, I don't know. But nonetheless, you guys can count on consistent content like this every week. It just may not be every day until I get some things figured out in my personal life. So don't judge, please don't judge. All right, you guys take care. Again, coaching, personal training is available. EricRosenCoaches@gmail.com. I'll see you guys later.